Good afternoon, everyone. Did I scare everybody? Sorry. Welcome to the Community Awareness Program. If I could have everybody stand, we're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Just a couple of things. Could you please silence your cell phones so they're not going on off during our meeting? And when we have questions and answers, we're going to do questions at the end of the presentation, and also for Mike Romero, we're going to do questions at the end, not during his presentation, okay? Thank you. Mike Romero?
Hello, thank you. Thank you for having us. My name is Mike. I'm your Director of Security. With me is Lieutenant Roman. He's next in command. First of all, good afternoon, everybody. I want to take a moment to discuss a few key safety concerns that are directly impacting our community and to share some practical steps that we can all take to stay safe. Living in a retired community has many benefits, as you know, including a strong sense of neighborhood and shared responsibility. By working together, we can continue to keep our community secure and comfortable. It's one of our main goals here with Securitas is to make sure that our residents are comfortable in living in a safe environment. And if there's anything that we can do or feedback, please reach out to us. We're always open for communication with every single resident here. I want to emphasize the importance of personal safety when out and about. Whenever you're taking a walk, heading to the clubhouse or any of our facilities, or even chasing after a loose dog that decided today was the day to test your speed, it's always good to stay aware of your surroundings. If you're walking early in the mornings or after dark, consider carrying a flashlight and walking with a friend. Use the pedestrian sidewalks and avoid using the street and vehicle exits and entries as pedestrian access points. Your safety is a huge concern. If you see anybody using a vehicle entry or exit, you can call security. We are aware that we do have some residents that don't have keys to use the pedestrian gates. We will take the time to go open those pedestrian gates for our residents. We don't want to see anybody get hurt or run over by a vehicle using those entries or exits as pedestrian gates. So just be very careful. If something looks suspicious, don't be shy. Let security know. We'd rather check out a harmless situation than miss something that's important. Plus, it gives us a break from writing those reports and giving out citations for unwanted parking. So we want to make sure that we're out there and you guys are reporting any suspicious activity as soon as possible. Another important topic is your home security. Even in a gated community, it is essential to keep precautions to protect your property and always lock your doors and windows when leaving, even if it's for a short time. Don't leave your garage door open with all your treasures out on display. It's not a showroom, folks. That's just an open invitation for somebody to walk into your garage and take stuff. We do have a number of incidents about theft occurrences that happen within our community. It doesn't just happen outside Sun Lakes, it does happen in here as well. So just be cautious about that. Thieves don't come just from outside of Sun Lakes, as I mentioned. They are within. So if you're planning to be away for an extended period, let a trusted neighbor or security know so that we can keep an extra eye on your home. Simple steps like using timers for lights, installing motion-activated cameras, and keeping valuables out of sight can go a long way in preventing unwanted incidents. Protect your items, folks. I can't stress this enough. Lock your doors, lock your windows. If you're going away, even if it's for an event here at the main clubhouse, secure your property. Thieves take the opportunity when you guys are away. So if you trust your neighbors, let them know that you're going to be out. Call us. We'll be more than happy to keep an eye on your home from time to time. One thing that I've learned working security is that incidents and emergencies can occur at any given place or time. This is why I encourage everyone to stay prepared for emergencies, whether it's for medical situations, a power outage, or severe weather. Having a plan in place can make all the difference. Make sure you have updated emergency contacts with the administration department or security. Keep necessary medications easily accessible and familiarize yourself with the nearest exits and emergency procedures in common areas. Remind your guests which gates they should be using to enter and exit the community in the event of an emergency. Can't stress that one enough either, folks. As you know, some of our gates do lock up at 6 in the evenings. A lot of our guests do not know that, and they're going to try to leave the community through a resident gate. We know it's a concern, but we do have ways to get out of the community in the event of an emergency. Let your guests know that after 6 p.m., they need to use the main gate to come out of the community. After 6 p.m., all the resident gates are just for residents. If you need any assistance, don't hesitate to reach out to the security department. We're here to help you guys out. Lastly, I do want to remind the community that our gate officers are diligently ensuring that only authorized guests and residents are entering the community. They also monitor the pedestrians accessing the property daily. While it's natural to be cautious, we encourage residents to avoid making assumptions based solely on appearances. What may seem like a homeless individual carrying a backpack after a rough night could be a caregiver finishing a long 12-hour shift, simply heading to the bus station to call it a day. Rest assured, our security team responds appropriately to all trespassing incidents when warranted, ensuring both safety and fairness in our approach. My team has successfully removed several trespassers from Sun Lakes in the last month, and we don't plan to slow down. By staying informed, taking small steps to enhance security, we can all contribute to making this community a safer place. Thank you for your time. I'm open for any questions if you have any.
Why do the gates close at 6 p.m.?
So we want to make sure that our community stays safe, so we don't want our gates to stay remain open after a certain time period to keep track of who's accessing the community. In order for us to maintain the, I guess, what do you call it, the integrity of who's coming in and out of Sun Lakes, those gates are locked based on decisions that the board had made. We are working with administration to see if we can change the time, but that is just something in the works at this time. But for now, the gates will remain and be locked after 6 p.m.
During emergencies, it seems to me that you wouldn't want to, bottleneck gate 1.
So we have steps in place and procedures. My team is readily and prepared to open any of the gates manually in case of an emergency. We work hand in hand with the EPAP department and the police department and fire department. If they instruct us to leave a gate open, we will make sure that that gate remains open at all times until they give us a clearance to close them up.
Hi, I'm a new homeowner here, and I've been observing some things that have been ignored or maybe not seen. I see a lot of drivers because I keep driving back and forth, and I see some people like not using the stop sign, and I almost got hit by somebody. It was too far, and so I pulled out, and then that person didn't stop all the way at the stop sign. It was like a rolling stop every time, because I see it every day when I drive. It's like seeing it outside, but inside the community, we are adult community seniors, and we need to be careful. If it's a stop, it's a stop. It's not a rolling stop. So I don't know how you can address that, but it's for safety.
Absolutely.
Measure.
I agree with you. First of all, welcome to Sun Lakes. We are here for the entire community. Our newcomers, you guys are going to see Sun Lakes is about safety. We do care for our residents. And we know speeding and stop sign violators is an issue. We are working, though, diligently in educating our community, our residents, our guests. Recently, I've implemented where we are handing little pamphlets to all the guests that are coming through the main gate, letting them know what our speed limits are within the community. Speeding is a huge factor. However, we're a security company. We don't have the legalities to pull somebody over and issue them a citation. What you can do as residents is make note of it. Call us. We will be more than happy to document it for you. If you have the vehicle description, a license plate number, any information that you can provide to us, we'll document it for you. We will let the safety committee know that this is a concern that a lot of our residents are bringing up to our attention, and we'll work hand in hand with them to see what we can do to further educate our residents. And you're right. Once inside Sun Lakes, our police department is also limited to what they can and cannot do because it is a private community. Again, as a community, all of us need to be aware of what's happening, and if we educate ourselves and our guests and those that are coming in, I think we can help maintain that safety here at Sun Lakes, okay? Any other questions? Yes.
Hi, Mike.
Hi.
Lately, we've had outages,
Yes.
phone outages. Is there a direct line that if the phone lines go down, that if we do have an emergency or we do want someone to come into our home, can you
Yes.
provide that number for
Absolutely.
us?
So let me give you that number right now. When we do have power outages, do you have the emergency number on you by chance, Jonathan? Our landlines are normally operated through our internet. So when our internet goes out, because of power outages, there's no way to access anybody through the landlines. However, the administration department and the board did give us an emergency backup cell phone. My team immediately turns that cell phone on in case any of our residents need to reach us out. That number, if you guys want to write this down as well, is 951 area code 604-8418. Once again, 951-604-8418. That phone will remain on until the power comes back on or until our landlines come back on. And we will take all the calls as much as we can, and we'll keep everybody updated with any information that we come across as well. Yes.
I'm Janice Rice from EPAP, and I want you guys to know that Angela called me several times last week, letting me know that the phones were down, and on Sun Lakes EPAP and on Good Day the new Sun Lakers and several other, I posted that number. So look at that. They're in contact with me or Candace, and we're trying to back them up.
Any help is always appreciated. Thank you. Any other questions? Over here.
I live in the villas, and several times there's workers that come in to do remodeling or whatever, and you know the streets are narrow, and it only leaves you like one lane, and most of the time there's never cones or anything ahead of time that you know. It seems to be pretty dangerous at times. So is there anything that we can do about that?
Absolutely. We are aware that the streets are very narrow in the condos area, Fairway Villas specifically. There are regulations that we are enforcing based on the fire marshal. So vehicles are only allowed to be parked for a 2-hour minimum in the Fairway condo areas. If a vehicle exceeds that time, we will go out there and hold the party responsible, and we might issue a citation or ask them to relocate the vehicle if need be. With that street being as narrow as it is, if you see any contractors that have been there for an excessive amount of time, please call security. We will go out there and ask them to relocate. Your street is a narrow street. We want everybody to have a safe accessibilities to their sidewalks. Emergency vehicles, they need to come through as well. So anything that we can do to help clear those paths out, we will go out there and help you guys accordingly. So do not hesitate in reporting any vehicles that have been there for an excessive amount of time. Your district delegates are really good about getting in touch with me as well. They will send me pictures, addresses, vehicle information. They will let us know there's this vehicle that's been here for X amount of time. I've been out there, Lieutenant Roman's been out there. We've had those vehicles relocated. So if you see it, please don't hesitate, call us.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any more questions?
Thank you. This is I'm reporting something that 2 other people told me that I did not knew myself. Anyway, they are complaining that they have 3 or 4 cars that are parked overnight in different homes in front of close to them. And they were wondering what were the rules and what do you do to stop this, or if they can have that many cars in front of their house.
Okay, good question. So follow up on that is Sun Lakes has strict rules when it comes to parking. As you know, vehicles that are parked, they are allowed to park on the streets or on their driveway on the condition that they have a valid pass. If there's no valid pass on the vehicle's dashboard, we will issue a citation, and we will hold the responsible party, in contempt for that citation. Call it, report it. If the vehicles are out there, we will give citations out. Call us with an area that you guys are observing those vehicles that have been excessively parked for overnight or whatever number of days. My graveyard patrol officers are out there looking for citations after midnight. If those vehicles don't have those passes displayed, they will get a citation, whether it be within a 24-hour period or more than that. Every citation that they get hit with, it just accumulates in violations, and we will pull them in for a hearing at some point once we notify planning and compliance about those violations. Report it. Again, if we don't hear it, there's nothing that we can go do about it. So always report any issues or incidents that you guys are observing.
I have a question.
Yes.
Have you received any reports on coyote attacks?
Not recently. We did receive one, I believe, in December. I think it wasn't even an attack. It was more of we saw a pack of coyotes in the area. Again, we're near a reserve, folks. We have wild animals around us, especially right now. All the animals are out. With any of our surrounding fires that we had, you're going to see more coyotes. You're going to see more raccoons, possums. So secure your properties. Close up your garage doors at nighttime. Your screen doors in the front. Just secure as much as you can to prevent any wildlife from coming in. Okay?
Is there a committee or someone who monitors the street lamps along inside Sun Lakes that they have to be at a minimum brightness? I have noticed a lot of lights that are out or very dim, and it does cause a concern as far as safety when walking at night.
Right.
And the street lamps, I know they go out, they have to be maintained, but is there a minimum brightness that they are supposed to give out?
So the brightness I'm not sure about, but what I can tell you, and this is what my department does, we do light audits as a security department. When we're out and doing our nightly patrol watches, I do encourage my guys to always take a picture of a location, do a light audit for certain districts, let us know where those lights are out, and I send that over to Mark Schleiden. He's the operational manager here for Sun Lakes. I send those reports to him on a daily basis. He will then get a work order done for you and get whatever needs to be fixed, get done right away, okay? So, but we do have chains of communication open within both departments to let those departments know of any light outages within the community so that we can get those fixed immediately. You can report those as well to my department. If you feel that we haven't been near your area to do a light audit, let us know. I will make sure that it gets done that same night. Any more questions? Perfect. Thank you for your time, folks. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Michael. Okay, so we now have our next presenter from Waste Management, James Delgado.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. You guys ready to talk about some trash? Ready for this? Awesome. If you raise your hand if you were at my last presentation, I think it was about 2 years ago. Okay, so we got a lot of new people. That's awesome. I redid the PowerPoint because you guys are great at asking questions. You really pushed me to learn more of what needs to be recycled. And so I got with a lot of our recycling experts to kind of break this down, and hopefully it answers a lot of your questions today. And so, as was mentioned, my name is James Delgado. I'm your local rep with Waste Management. I work directly with the city of Banning in assisting them to not only for your trash services, but to support them with the state law called SB 1383. This was a law that was signed in by Governor Brown in 2016, and it took effect in 2022. That's why you see all these carts. You see organics. It does cause a lot of growing pains because it's challenging. No one wants to separate your food waste and put into an organic cart because there's a lot of headaches that come with it. And the reason is to reduce pollution. That's the main goal. If we leave the organic waste in the same process that we had, it will go to the landfill. When it sits in the landfill, it produces green gas, and that's caused pollution. It can definitely impact your health. So me, as somewhat of a new father with 2 little girls, a 2-year-old and a 3-month-old, so I don't get a whole lot of sleep these days. But you think about the future, and I would ask you to think about your grandchildren or your children. And if we can make an impact to the pollution in the air that they're breathing, you know, to help them with their future, because disease care is a lot more expensive if we just be proactive and trying to be healthy, correct? And so as we work together to definitely capture all the organic waste and divert it, it's going to make a huge impact. And I have a video that's going to show you and explain how much of an impact it can have. The who's for this is Cal Recycle. That is the state agency that oversees this law and tells the city, hey, you need to do A, B, and C to be in compliance. And then the city goes to the residents and we provide education, and then they contact the hauler, since we collect the trash, to come out here and do outreach and educate our residents. But WM is not an enforcement agency. We're not here to split hairs. We're not here to make things difficult for you. We try to make it as easy as possible to collect that organic waste, because then we got to take all that organic waste and haul it to no man land up in the hills, and has to go through a facility that has to process that organic waste into biofuel and renewable energy like gas and electricity. So it's a headache on our end as well. So again, we're not an enforcement agency. We just have to follow the law, just like our customers and the residents of Banning. So here's a video that Cal Recycle created.
Is no longer the future.
Is completely engulfed. It is hot.
It's already here.
California is hitting a fearsome milestone. We're experiencing temperatures, world record-breaking temperatures in the state of California, 130 degrees.
We're seeing bigger wildfires, stronger storms, and devastating droughts.
I'm standing currently 40 feet underwater, or should be. Today, we are advancing a drought emergency.
But both the state and here at Cal Recycle, we're doing something about it.
SB 1383 is the biggest change to happen in waste management in over 30 years.
The new super pollutant reduction strategy rules for organics recycling and edible food recovery are part of California's bold effort to fast-track climate progress by reducing the most potent climate super pollutants like landfill methane emissions. Food, fiber, wood, and other organic waste materials make up the largest material types landfilled in California every year. When organic waste material decomposes, it emits methane, a short-lived climate super pollutant 84 times more potent than carbon dioxide, and a major contributor to climate change. California's short-lived climate pollutant reduction law calls on the state's 40 million people, its businesses at every level of government, to reduce landfill methane emissions by achieving a 75% statewide reduction in organic waste disposal by 2025. The law also requires actions to make sure at least 20% of currently disposed edible food is redirected to Californians who don't have enough to eat. The state is encouraging cities and counties to start planning now.
There is a need for more infrastructure to process food waste.
To provide organics collection services to every resident and business in the state, and to connect grocery stores, restaurants, schools, state agencies, and other large food suppliers with local food recovery organizations to feed people, not landfills. In addition to putting more food on the table, the law will reduce pollution and greenhouse gases, the equivalent of taking nearly 2 million cars off the road for a year. By using innovative methods to make and use compost, we'll create things like biofuel and electricity, and turn depleted dirt back into nutrient-rich, water-retaining soil. Building the next generation of recycling infrastructure will create about 17,000 green jobs of the future. Ambitious goals, putting California in a much better position to protect the health of our people and our planet.
The really big solution here is taking on the climate crisis.
Because it's still possible, I think, to avoid the worst outcomes.
So in that presentation, you saw by 2025, 75% reduction has to be achieved. That's a lot. Did we meet it? No. But the state recently had a meeting with a lot of my jurisdictions. Jurisdictions are counties and cities that have to comply with this law. And we had a meeting with Banning in the state. And so, yeah, they're coming down and wanting to ensure that we reach these goals. So some of you might get notification in the mail when you throw a material either in the recycling container or the organic cart that doesn't belong in there. And that's because the state wants us to encourage everyone to participate and put clean recyclables in your containers. And moving forward, we are monitoring everyone who does frequently contaminate their containers, and I'm going to call you directly, pretty much, just to educate you. The biggest thing is usually plastic bags, but we'll get into that in a little bit. And that usually what triggers the notification. By 2036, everyone's going to have a matching trash cart. There's going to be a charcoal base and the color lid, and the lid will determine which type of waste stream. The black for your traditional trash, the blue for your dry traditional recycling, and then the green for your green waste and your food waste. You'll see some people with this already, or some residents with this already. It's going to come out through attrition. That means if your cart breaks or you ask for a replacement, we'll switch it out with a newer one, depending on the inventory. Now, this is the important stuff, and it was mentioned to me earlier, this is also on Sun Lake's website. This is what goes where. So in your organic or your green cart, not only does I don't know if you have a lot of green waste, which is like yard trimmings, grass, leaves, things of that nature will go in there, but also now your food waste, your produce, your dairy, your meats, your breads, your coffee grounds, you can dump it in there. And then for your recycling, bottles, glass bottles, plastic bottles, paper, cardboard, and cans, aluminum cans, and beverages cans. Now, a lot of people get caught up with the recycling. People get confused, what do I do with this? I think the last time I was here, someone asked me, what do I do with my nails? Or what do I do with dirt? And I was like, put it back in the hole you took it out of. But, it can get confusing at times and overwhelm. And so, again, waste management is not here to split hairs. We just want to capture the majority of organic waste that's being tossed in the landfill, which are the plastic bottles, the glass bottles, the cardboard, the paper from maybe a TV dinner, the box, right? You can throw that into your recycling container. But then when it gets to plastics, it gets a lot of confusing because then we see this Mobius sign or the triangle, and we're like, well, what about this? Don't worry, we're going to cover this. Okay, the next step, which I kind of was talking about, is we're monitoring it. And we have these smart trucks that have cameras on there, and they're the ones that are identifying the contaminants that are being inside your recycling containers, and that's where you're getting a letter in the mail, and you're being notified. Now, technology is not perfect. Sometimes there's mistakes. You give us a call, we'll correct it, because there's times where a neighbor may put their cart too close to your house, and it captures your house. Or there's times someone's walking around the street, and they have trash, and your cart's out, and it's easy, so it's convenient, let me just throw it in here. And then you get a notification. We're all about educating. Let's educate you first. Let's make sure that you're aware. Now, if it continues to happen after we educate you, I think that's when the city gets involved, and they do the enforcement. I'm just here to educate. So the way the smart truck works, I was mentioning, there's the cameras on the truck. There's a geolocation, so when it's in front of your house, it can target the correct address. And then that information, what it captures for the contamination, is sent to a technician. They review it to confirm that indeed this is a contaminant and that we have to address it per state law. This is how the image looks. As you see on the far right-hand corner, there's a lot of plastic bags in there. The plastic package firm, foam packaging, and it will pick the computer will identify that, and then it'll go to the next stage of notifying a technician. These are some contamination issues as well. The recycling, it has this plastic bag in there, which is not allowed. And then on the bottom is overages. Typically, if you can't close the lid, it's considered an overage. Now, if it's a little bit open, no big deal. But this is what you have to think about. The reason we need the lids closed in the event that your neighbor's walking by. Maybe their daughter came by and has a new baby with a stroller, and they're walking along the sidewalk, and a truck comes to pick up that cart, and that cart is full, and there's a lot of waste on there, and the cart is not closed all the way, and they pick it up, and some of it falls out. Well, if there's glass in there, and it falls, and it shatters, and some of the shards hit the baby or the daughter, you don't want that to happen, or if you're walking. So that's why it's a safety concern. So that's why we ask, do your best to close the lids, flatten out boxes, whatever you need to do. If you need an additional pickup, you can give us a call for bulky item pickups, and I'll get into that later in the event you have more trash than usual. Now, another concern is my privacy. What about when you're taking photos and I'm throwing paper away in my recycling container that I want to keep confidential? Well, you shouldn't be putting it into your trash can like that, first of all. I'm going to talk about that also later, is that the city does a community cleanup. I believe it's about 3 or 4 times a year. I have it on the page of the dates, and we have a shredding company that comes out, so you can throw those materials in there in the event you have confidential papers and you want it to be shredded. So there's a shredder out there for the community. And the reason contamination is an issue, and the main issue is plastic bags. Plastic bags of any kind, even if it says it's compost. We had one of your residents bring this in. It may state that it can break down and it's compost or recyclable. The thing is, when we capture all your organic waste or even your recycling material, it gets sent to a facility to be processed. This doesn't break down within that, say, about a week, right? This is probably going to take a couple of years before it decomposes and breaks down. And so what happens, it contaminates the machines, or not the machines, but can contaminate the material, especially organic waste. It doesn't break down enough, and then we can't process this into some sort of biofuel. It can cause a hazard. Now, if you put it into a recycling container, it goes through these machines that you're going to see in this video, and it gets all clogged up, and it causes a lot of safety concerns. So this video is going to show how plastic bags are pretty much dangerous.
I've been driving for waste management for 25 years. This is Christmas-free propane in plastics bag. It's not recyclable.
Only bottles, cans, paper, and cardboard go in the recycle bin. Some recycling programs have over 25% contamination. We spend too much time sorting through contamination and not enough time sorting through good material to help the environment.
The oddest thing I've seen was a skint deer.
I saw a badger dead with his eyes open and they terrified. I thought it was gonna wake up, so I didn't touch that one.
The most common thing that I would see contaminate the line would be Christmas lights.
Water hoses that stop the stars from spinning around. And anytime we get jammed, the whole system shut down. Right now, as you can see, everything is shut down because we have to clean the machine.
There's a lot of plastic bags that we get through the system. Grocery bags, bags filled with leaves, that's also get caught up in the screen.
Stream cleaning is when we go inside the stream and we take out the unwanted material, old clothing, old shoes, metal material.
When we go inside the screen, you might have a pole sticking out the shaft, and we have to pry it out. Or we might have cords that's wrapped around 3 shafts, or ropes, or chains, and we have to use a tool to get those things out. The tools we have is a hook knife, some wire cutters, and some pliers.
6 times a day, we stop the machines to clean for contamination.
Well, it would probably take us up to 2 hours to clean the stream out when recycling is not done properly.
We try to clean the screen 100% so it can run smooth as possible without causing any jam.
Now that I work here at Waste Management, I tell my friend that recycling is really important. If more people would recycle right, we could process more recycling a day.
So you see, when you don't put the correct items in the recycling container, it gets processed, it clogs up the machine, puts everything down. I think he said it's about 6 hours, and it's a safety concern for the people working there. Let's go to the next slide. So what is contamination? Well, let's start with the organic cart. We only want your food waste, soiled paper as well. And when we say soiled paper, a lot of people get confused with the pizza box. The pizza box seems to be a mystery. If it's soiled with grease, cardboard is organic because it's paper and it comes from trees. So when the food or the soil, the oil from the pizza goes on there, it is now an organic material. If it's a clean pizza box and there's no food waste on there, then you can put it into the recycling container because it's clean. Any food waste that goes into the blue container or the recycling container, it will contaminate it because the food spoils, and then it ruins all the other clean material. So with the pizza boxes, that's the main issue. So food, your fruits, your vegetables, your meats. When you're preparing your meals, there's times where you have some left over. And if you're not going to reuse it, I'm talking about produce, fruits, vegetables, whatever it may be, you can toss it into your organic cart. I advise using a brown paper bag. I'm not sure if the local, I think you said Albertsons is where most people shop. I'm not sure if they give those out or if it's an additional cost. But brown paper bags with no liner. You don't see a wax coating. It's just a clean paper bag. You can utilize that, throw your waste in there. Some people put it into the freezer, and then they toss it into their organics cart. Now, if you do have green waste, some people use it as a buffer. They put all their green waste at the bottom, then they put their food waste. And it helps absorb some of the liquids from the organic waste. So no loose plastic bags, no utensils, no plastic containers, no foam containers, no hazard waste, no bag material in any of the organic cart. For your recycling container, as he mentioned, Christmas lights. I don't know why, but Christmas lights do not go into your recycling container. Clothes do not go into your recycling container. There are donation bins. I'm not sure if there's one in the city of Banning, but you will find donation bins for clothing in different cities, but they do not go into your recycling container. The gray top. I believe you guys have gray containers right now? Okay, so gray containers is your recycling container right now. Water hose, no. Food waste, no. Tires, electronic batteries, pet waste. A lot of people put that in their organic cart. No, that's trash. Just throw that in your traditional trash container. Couches, clothes, we talked about that. Polystyrene foam. Those are like the food and plastic. Those are a lot of the, I don't know around here, but sometimes you'll order some food and it comes almost in this cardboard, paperish container. That just goes in your trash. Okay. Appliances, no. Overages, we kind of mentioned a little bit. The first one is actual photo of a customer. I won't say which city, but they put all those plants in there and expect us to pick it up. You can see how that's an issue. The second one, that's a lot hanging over, especially the cart on the right-hand side. It looks like you have some bottles or towards the back. And then the third one is just a mixture of everything. There's wires, egg cartons, plastic bags in the recycling container. And the reason this has become a huge issue, in 2017, there's something called the National Sword or the China Sword, where China pretty much said, hey, America, we don't want your dirty, contaminated recycling material anymore. It's causing a lot of pollution, it's causing a lot of issues. And so the U.S. had to make a decision, what do we do with all this recycled material? Well, I guess we have to hold people accountable. If you're going to recycle, you got to recycle correctly. And then now Cal Recycle says, you know what, you're all going to recycle, and we're going to hold everyone accountable now. And so you kind of see how this kind of took place. Okay, here are some recyclable myths, right? The Mobius sign, just because you see that triangle in a circle and a number on it, does not mean it's a recyclable material. The question is why? Because for something to be recyclable, it has to have a market where someone or a company will go and purchase that material and reuse it in some way. And so there's a lot of products out there that can be recycled, but if people are not buying that product, then we can't, then what we're supposed to do with it? We're not just gonna store it, right? So it then goes in just to the trash in the landfill for right now. Do containers need to be squeaky clean in order to be recycled? False. Just do your best to rinse them out, take the liquid out, drain it. Doesn't have to be spotless. But if you're dealing with a milk jug you want to rinse that out. As I mentioned earlier, if food waste spoils like the dairy in those containers, it's going to contaminate the material. So if it's filled with a lot of milk and it's dried up or it's old and you did your best to clean it, still dirty, just throw it into your trash container. Because it's better to throw one away than to contaminate not just what's in your cart, but inside the whole truck. So it has huge. The bottles do go into your. Yeah. Okay. It doesn't matter if something belongs in the recycling cart, the hauler will sort everything out. Incorrect. This is why we have the carts. Every cart goes to a different facility. The recycling goes to our MRF, which is a material handling place where we'll separate it. Our organics goes to no man land, because I don't think anybody wants an organic processing center in their backyard. It smells, it's disgusting, and it's the whole process to turn food into compost. Imagine on a large scale or commercial scale, it doesn't smell too amazing. And then your regular trash, that goes into the landfill. So those all have different delivery stops. So that's why it's important to separate it. Hoses, tanks, shower curtains, swing sets, etc. are made of plastic, so they must be recyclable. No. Just as we have a sheet earlier, I'll go over what's recyclable, but these are not. Just because it's plastic does not mean it goes into your recycling container. Even though if your hose may be in good shape, you can use OfferUp or find a resident who may need a water hose. Aerosol cans are acceptable in the recycling bins. So this varies. Yes, they are if they're completely empty. But you want to make sure they're empty because that can explode and cause a fire. And during the summer, it gets dry out here, and we don't want any fires out here. So just ensure that it's completely empty. You can take the lid and throw that in the trash, but the aerosol can go to the recycling container. Okay, recycling materials. Okay, so for plastic bottles and cans, you get a soda bottle, water bottle. In some of these bottles, if you look at the bottom, it has a symbol, a number 1. You can look at that, and if it has that symbol, it can go to your recycling container. If it has the symbol number 2 on it, which is milk, detergent, soap containers, that will go into your recycling container. Now, aluminums, vegetables, there's some meat cans like tuna, soda cans. As long as you clean it out, again, we don't want food in the recycling container, you can then toss into the recycling cart. And then your paper and your cardboard, as long as it's flattened out. The last presentation I did, TV dinners. The container outside the TV dinner, yes. The plastic and the film, trash. And trust me, we're going to have questions at the end because I know many of you may still have questions regarding this. I get plenty every time I do this. So in regards to the organic cart, these are some tips to help you to maintain it because I know that it can be challenging with critters and the smell and things of that nature. So in Canada, they've been doing this for some years, and so they have some best practices that you can follow to help ensure that your green container doesn't get too smelly.
Hi, I'm Laura. My family and I have been recycling our food scraps ever since the City of Vancouver introduced the Green Bin program a couple of years ago. Now that we're composting, we've seen a huge decrease in the amount of garbage we produce and feel great creating useful compost for our local gardens and farms. Our green bin can get icky and smelly pretty quickly, so to help prevent odors and pests, especially during the warm summer months, here are a few tips we like to follow. Tip number 1, finding the right spot for your green bin. Store your bin in a shady, ventilated spot to reduce odor and pests. Keep it away from fences or deck railings so critters don't have easy access to try to knock it over. If there's a persistent critter, place peppermint oil, hot sauce, or cayenne pepper on any chew marks left on the bin. Remember to wrap your food scraps before placing into the green bin. Lining your kitchen bin with newsprint is a great way to reduce odor. but never use plastic, even if it says it's biodegradable. Our next tip is very important, and I guarantee your nose will thank you. Line and layer your bin. Lining your bin with newsprint, cardboard, or yard trimmings before adding your scraps cuts down odor. Once you've started adding food scraps, layer in dry leaves, dry grass clippings, or dead plants throughout the week. Tip number 4, set it out every week. Set out your green bin for collection every week, even if it isn't full, to reduce odors, pests, and maggots. Properly setting out your cart is important. Always place carts with the handle facing your property, at least 1 meter of space on all sides and 3 meters of clearance above. Our final tip is rinse your bin. Rinsing your bin occasionally with a garden hose, mild detergent, or vinegar and water solution will help to keep it clean and reduce odor. By recycling food scraps, we're reducing the amount of greenhouse gases produced by garbage, and in turn creating beneficial compost that is used by local farmers to grow food across the region. For more information on the Green Bin program and recycling food scraps, visit vancouver.ca/greenbin.
Another option to mitigate the smell is baking soda. You can sprinkle some baking soda over it, and it'll definitely help fight the organic waste smell. Oh, sorry, baking soda. You can sprinkle organic or baking soda in your organic cart, and it'll help fight the smells that organic waste leaves. Let's see. Now, here is the banning service guide. These are some items that residents can take advantage of. And one is the bulky item pickup. You get 3 bulky item pickup up to 6 bulky item pickups per year at no additional charge. So you get you clean out the garage, trying to get rid of some items, you can give us a call and we'll pick that up for you. The acceptable materials are like furniture, appliances, microwaves, TV, computers, DVD players, tree branches, and scrap wood. Things that are not acceptable is household waste such as paint, oil, and batteries, spas, pianos, camper shells. Item required more than 2 persons to safely handle. So if it takes 2 people to get that item out on the curb, most likely we're not going to be able to pick it up because it's only 1 person going by picking up these items. We also, if you have motor oil, we'll go ahead and pick that up for free. A maximum of 2 gallons per month is acceptable. Tire collections, if you have old tires, we'll collect up to 8 used tires per year. So I know a lot of you go on that golf course and maybe those golf course tires get kind of burned out. We'll go pick them up for you. Sharps, so needles. People who may be diabetic and have needles, you can give us a contact us and we'll send you a box that's pre-posted and get it delivered to you, and you just fill it up and we'll pick that up or have you ship that out. Backyard service for disabled customers. If you know a customer or resident may has a hard time taking their bin out, you can give us a call and we'll set up a service where the driver will go out there and personally take out their trash bin and return it as well. Temporary bins and roll-off services. Say you're doing, I don't know if you're allowed to do some construction on site and you need a larger container. Those big old metal boxes, we can drop that off in front of the home. But get with your HOA and see what the regulations are in regards to that, because it's most likely to be on your driveway or on by the sidewalk. But if you can utilize that to get rid of a lot of waste that you may have. And also household waste, the paint and things we mentioned earlier. The Riverside County actually has a program to take that all in. So you can contact them. The website's up here and the number, rcwaste.org, and you can get more information regarding the household waste. Community cleanup, what I mentioned earlier, we got the document shredding and the compost giveaway. The dates are April 19th and October 18th for this year. Those are the 2 left for this year. So you can stop by, and the city of Banning does a great job. They'll put a banner up, they'll put stuff on their website, and you can go there, get compost. Maybe you want some for some plants that you're planting or whatnot, and some documents that you're trying to shade. We have e-waste, old batteries, things you want to get rid of, electronics. You can take it there as well. So I would advise utilizing that. Again, what I was talking about earlier, construction and demolition services. If you're doing something on site and you need a larger container, you can give us a call, and we'll definitely assist you with that. So I always ask that if you can create a WM profile, do any of you know how to create a WM profile? Okay. You're part of the self-awareness program? Or not self-awareness, but the safety awareness? Or EPAP? Is that correct? Okay, emergency preparedness. And it's fairly simple. You can also call us and we'll walk you through it, how to set that up. And it's very easy to, if you need something done, you can go on that app or what have you. But if you prefer calling, the number right here is below. Someone was asking for that number in my last presentation, and yes, you can still give us a call. And you can also reach out to me directly if you choose to. I'm going to be here after we take questions. If you want my information, you can reach out to me. I'm your local WM representative and can help expedite if you do have any issues or concerns. And then if you want to learn more about Cal Recycle and the state agency and how SB 1383's plan is implemented, you can go on their website, and trust me, it'll be a month to get through all that information that they require every jurisdiction to follow. And then our website, How to Recycle Right, will have some brochures and other posters if you want some simple ways to remember how to recycle correctly. I'm also going to send that to the team here, and they're going to disperse it to the community so you can have that as well. And now my favorite part, questions. So we have a gentleman right here in the middle.
Did you not talk about plastic bags? Where are you putting them? Did you already say that?
Okay, so no problem. Let me go way back to the sheet right here. So right here, when we talked about the recycling containers, contaminants, plastic bags, definitely not allowed.
No, I'm asking what do we do with plastic bags?
Oh, okay, so.
Amazon deliveries comes in plastic bags.
Oh, yeah. I think it's.
I just got a bunch, yeah.
So that's going to be your trash.
In the trash.
Or if you're getting from your grocery bags, some grocery stores will take them back. I
Okay.
think Stater Brothers has a program where you can walk in and they can put your plastic bags in there.
And I have another question. We were taught in Riverside, because we came from Riverside, to put our food waste in a plastic bag, the kind that you showed, that green one, and put it in the green. And now you're telling us not to do that. If we don't do that, I get maggots all in my trash.
Yeah.
And that's nasty, smelly, and oh God, I don't even want to open up the green container.
Yeah. Well, someone has to collect that organic waste, right? So it's going to be us.
What we do is we have this little container on our kitchen sink. That's where all the food scraps go. In a plastic bag, I tie it up and I would throw it in there. And they were okay with that. And you're telling us now we can't do that.
Correct.
So I'm guessing I have to now find a sealable bucket, put the food waste in there, and the day of the trash pickup, make sure I get out there in the early morning and dump that so I don't get maggots.
If you don't want maggots, there's growing pains to this organic waste. One thing you can do, though, is get a brown paper bag, put the material in there, and then, or take that material, put it in a container and put it in your freezer, and then the day before, drop that stuff inside. We're frozen the day before.
This is a lot of trouble here.
It is, but again.
This is a lot of trouble. Okay,
again,
and I had one more.
Yeah, go ahead.
Eggshells. Eggshells.
Eggshells, that's a good question. Eggshells, you know what? Let me find out about that. I want to say it's organic. But again, you guys give me some specific questions. That's like coffee grounds, right? Yeah, I would assume so. It'll be organics, but this is what I'll do. I'll go with there's actually a recycling expert at the hauling site, and for eggshells, I'll ask them, and then I'll shoot an email. We'll exchange emails, and then they'll share it with the community. But I would say organics. Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Violent truck dumping. They come and pick up your trash cans, throw them up, dump it, and then they slam them back down, and then the lids break, crack.
Yeah.
What can you do about that?
Well, sometimes our trucks get angry. They have bad days.
I mean, I'm not just talking one truck. I'm talking about
but
all.
Understood. If that's an occurrence in some of these neighborhoods, that's exchange information. Let me know, And I'll get with the team that actually goes out here and services your streets and figure out what is going on. And so that we can clean up. Maybe there's something wrong and the driver's not reporting it. There's something wrong with the mechanics and they're just not reporting it, and this is why the issue's occurring. But we'll get it resolved.
Because every week I can find trash cans on my whole street, Riviera, for a matter of fact, all thrown.
Just beating them up.
Not that they don't set them down properly again.
Understood.
And secondly,
Yeah.
other cities, major, that have good funding, they supply biodegradable green waste bags. Why can't we get some of those?
So again, the
'Cause
bags.
just like that gentleman said, the maggots and stuff like that, that would prevent that. Because
Yes.
they accept them in the green waste, if they're the biodegradable type.
Correct. So for waste management, we're not accepting that because the facility we take them to, those bags contaminated. Maybe in the future, we will accept them, but currently right now, we do not accept that. If another jurisdiction takes that, hey, that's awesome. But for us, unfortunately, we do not accept compost or recyclable bags. They're not biodegradable, as most of them say, and they don't break down quick enough.
And in one more, other cities like Long Beach, LA, they give the homeowners a container that they can put their waste in during the week, and then when it's trash day, they can dump it in, just like that gentleman said, so that would
Correct.
prevent the maggots and all
So
that.
the city of Beaumont does that as well, but that is up to the city. That's the city's funding, and that's them providing the residents with those food pail buckets is what he's mentioning. I'm not sure if Banning does so. I will check and see if they do, and if they do, I'll share that information, and we'll share it with this community. But I know Beaumont did it. I'm not sure if Banning does that. We don't know.
And I want to follow up with what he was saying today.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually took a picture. They picked up my green waste,
Mm-hmm.
and no, my regular trash, and when he set it down, he knocked over my green waste, pushed it clear up on the sidewalk, and it was tipping over, and I ran out and caught it.
Just a quick survey. Raise your hand if this happens on your street. So it happens all throughout this community. Okay. Well, I'm going to get with the hauler, and I'm going to get with the driver and their managers, and we'll definitely address this immediately. But thank you for bringing that to my attention. We definitely do not want that occurring, and maybe there's some retraining that needs to be done. But is there any other questions? Oh, sorry.
Well, I get a lot of envelopes, I'm sure we all do, from all kinds of places. And a lot of them, has the plastic, so the address shows through.
Correct.
Are those envelopes okay to recycle?
No, that's like that plastic film that we're mentioning on here. Is it on this one? Unfortunately, not.
If it's just a plain envelope without that?
Correct. Or you just pull that plastic
but
out.
anything
Yeah.
that has, okay, thank you.
For sure. Trash. Because there's not a market for that material right now.
So apparently they couldn't hear.
Oh.
They were talking about the envelope with the clear plastic on it that goes in your trash. I'm a trash expert.
Okay, so we talked about the little triangle, 1 and 2. I go through 4 is recycle, but I don't know whether 5, 6, and 7, and 8 are.
Yeah, so there's a whole series of numbers, but only 1 and 2 is what we take. Because again, there has to be, because there has to be a market for someone to take that material. Like there's one called polystyrene, and it's like a foam container, more of the medicine containers. Yeah, but it's recyclable, but there's not a market. No one wants to buy that material right now. 1 and 2.
Okay, one more.
Okay.
What about your K-cup?
Your K-cup?
Your K-cup.
Oh, that
from
plastic
your
piece?
coffee.
Just throw that in the
Yes.
trash. You can throw the coffee
Throw it in the
grounds into the
trash.
organics, but that container itself throw that in the trash. Unless you're gonna rip the aluminum off and all that, so just dump the grounds in the organic and throw the rest in the trash.
Thank you.
I have a paper shredder, and so I shred a lot of paper, and I put it in a big plastic bag and put it in recycle. What should I do if we can't put the plastic bag in there?
One option is put in a brown paper bag. The
Oh.
second option is wait until the community cleanup day It's a large commercial shredding company that'll come by, and you can dump boxes. I've seen someone get boxes and boxes of paper, and they dump it in there, and they'll shred it on a commercial level, so it's a lot more convenient, easier.
What about putting it in a box and put it in recycle?
Yeah, you put it in the box, and then as soon as you throw it in there, I would say if you can, as long as the box not sticking out of the container,
Yeah,
then
okay.
you're good.
Okay.
That works.
Thank you.
Could I just make a comment real quick? Everybody has to realize we're talking about the city of Banning. We're not talking about Long Beach. We're not talking about any other place. We're talking about what happens here in Banning and what we have to do here in Banning. Not what Beaumont does, not what Hemet does, but what Banning does. So this is what he's trying to explain, is this is what the city of Banning, you have a problem with it, contact your city council members.
After the lady.
Okay, aerosol cans. So
She's speaking right now. After her, we'll address this gentleman's concern.
I empty most of them if I'm going to put them in the trash. Unfortunately, there are some you really can't empty or you don't want to empty, like the tube tire stuff that, my husband hung on to for 10 years. So, and the community events don't take it. I'm thinking I have to go to Lamb Canyon to dispose of these aerosol cans with these products in them. Would that be correct?
That's another option. But also know if you have aerosol cans and there's still some good product in there, they did a presentation with me last week, and they will actually take that material and resell it, and they'll for people who want used items, like they had golf clubs, bicycles, and things of that nature. So they'll try to sell it if there's still enough good product in there. Lamb Canyon. Well, they probably will take, because they do have a hazard waste program as well, so you can probably go. That probably is an easy drop off there.
In my last article, I believe, I gave many, many options of what you could do with paint, paint thinner, this type of thing. So go back, I think, a couple of months, and it's in the article. It's in the Lifestyles magazine.
Yes, gentlemen.
I wondered, what do you do, or is it okay to put clean cardboard and newspapers and magazines in the gray barrel?
Correct. Your recycling container, yes.
Okay. Okay. And well, I understand this then. For the organics, like your garbage, if you have it in a sink in a plastic bag, what I've been doing is taking the plastic bag out and then dumping it in the green barrel, and then throwing the bag in the black
We
barrel.
can't hear you.
Is that correct?
Correct. So what the gentleman said, when he has organic waste, he collects it in a plastic bag. He then dumps it into the organic cart and gets the plastic bag and throws it into your trash cart. That is correct. And as the video pointed out, what some people also do is they'll wrap their organic waste in newspaper. As long as it doesn't have that wax coating on it, like New York or LA Times or Press Enterprise or whatever newspaper, you can wrap your organic waste in that as well.
James, just 1 second. This lady wanted to ask a question. What are you doing with the shredding again? The shredded paper that, bills and things like that. What do you do with that shredded paper?
Oh, when we collect it?
No. Where do you put it? She wants to know where you put it.
Oh, in your recycling container. Is that what you're asking? What container? Yeah, you can put that in a box, like a clean cardboard box. You can put your shredding paper in there and put that into your recycling container. Or you can just dump it. Well, sometimes you get a lot of winds and it may blow out. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yes.
It's pretty much what you had talked about as far as like the clean waste. So with the organic trash, so you said we can line it with paper.
Correct.
And put the leaves in and then put the food.
Correct.
To contain the smell.
Correct.
Okay, I have another one. Okay, now you said with the clean recyclables. So like, say you have a paper plate and it has like food waste on it. Do we clean it and still dump it, or?
So paper plates, unfortunately, they're not recyclable.
Okay,
just
so they
throw
go in
that
trash.
away. Just throw that
Okay.
in the trash.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Good. Okay.
I thought so too.
Yeah.
And then I went back because that was a question asked last week, and I was like, yeah, I think that's recyclable. So then I went and asked our team, and they said, no, that's not recyclable. So. Well, to make it simple, plastic bottles, glass bottles, aluminum cans, paper, cardboard. Yeah, see now you get, but then people get confused, and then if there's food waste on it, what do I do with that? But paper plates, yeah, that's just gonna go in your trash. So paper plates will go inside your trash. Even clean paper plates, yeah. I'm not sure what it's made out of. I don't know if it's 100% paper or there's something up with it, but for whatever reason, it goes, or maybe it doesn't, it breaks down to the point where by the time it gets to the facility, it's not recyclable. I'm not sure, yeah.
Okay, this probably isn't for you per se, but for EPAP, when do we have the shredding here at Sun Lakes? It hasn't been in the lifestyle for the last 3 months.
Okay, there is going to be a shredding. You're going to have to look in your lifestyles. I don't know it offhand, but it is in the Lifestyles magazine, and they do put a e-blast out. So you just have to look in your Lifestyles magazine and get that information.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions? See me after. Yeah. If you have account issues, billing issues, equipment issues, you can see me. You can call, talk to me right now. I'll get your information, and I'll get that resolved personally. But if there's any other questions regarding recycling, yes.
The milk containers, the ones that are not plastic, but you know, I guess they're cardboard, but they have the wax on it. Trash, thank you.
Milk cartons, trash.
What about the metal caps on wine bottles, the screw caps? Take the screw cap off and throw it in the trash and put the bottle in the, okay.
Correct. Wine bottles with the tops, just throw that in the trash and recycle the glass bottle.
I quit cooking about a couple of years ago and decided recently, after I broke my leg, that I would a project in the house of cleaning out the pantry. And I had all these canned goods, you know, tomato paste, tomatoes, all that, and they were out of date. So I didn't know what to do with them. I didn't want to open them all up, put that down in the garbage, and then rinse them and put them in the recyclable. So I called Waste Management.
Mm-hmm.
The person told me to put them in the trash. I hope that was right.
Correct. If you're not going to separate it, it would go in the trash.
Okay.
But if you were to separate it, the organic material will go into your organic container. You'll rinse it out and throw the aluminum into the recycling container.
Right, right. But that was a lot of...
If you're in a jam, I mean, sometimes you just got to, when in doubt, just throw it in the trash.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So just to make this a little easier, I know James wants to answer some questions from other people here. What I will do is I will make sure when James sends me all the information, I will again put it in the Lifestyles magazine. I'll put little blurbs in there, and it'll also be posted on the Sun Lakes website. Plus, it'll also be posted in the community awareness in our videos. So you'll be able to see all that information there.
Is there any more questions? No? Okay, well, I'm going to be here however long you need me. If you have account or billing, account issues, or equipment issues, go ahead and come see me.
So I just want to thank everybody for coming, and thank you, James, for being here. And I want to let you know our next welcome home, our next, I do welcome home too. Our next community awareness is going to be on March 4th, and that is going to be Firewise. And I hope we have a lot of people that come in and see this. It's for our community. It's to make our community a Firewise community, and it may help with your insurance rates. So you want to come and participate in that. Thank you.